Hello. Everyone can see me and hear me, but what's going on? Hey, Peter. What's going on, buddy? Huh. Where are you, man?
Hey, you're on. Basically, okay. So, he sent me this message, and he said, I'll be 3 minutes late. Start up. So I started up, and then he arrived. How about that? Yeah.
2 minutes later. 2 minutes later, I try to kick it. 2 minutes after I give the message, I started up knowing that there would be delay, so that's why I added the third, and it was 7:03, and I'm there talking to myself on TV, which is not bad. I mean, my hands host, but
I don't know why I didn't put myself on. Anyway, welcome everybody. Welcome to Talking Niagara. And basically, this week it's 3 months till the Niagara Municipal Polls. So all the nominations close this Friday at 2:00. So if you're going to stand, stand. And in Niagara Falls, let's not have 35 people or 45 people. We've got some reasonable people standing. We've got some real idiots standing right now as well. But we got some 30. You don't need 35 people. We need reasonable choice, which means no more than 20.
Well, we can't help that. How many do show up to be there or whatever? But what we're having trouble with, and I was, of course, listening to Paul's show on Friday, actually, I listened to it yesterday. But there's a problem getting information on some of the candidates.
Yes.
No ability to get that information. And another thing that I Wilkins News will point out is that you can't put any sign up until after all the and until it's been closed. How many candidates?
The other thing about them is that the candidates that are out there, you can't put signs up until they're. I don't. There's a lot of places I disagree with how we use signs, but that's another question entirely. There's also there's many candidates out there that don't have websites, don't have any social media presence or anything like that. So how would you know what you stand for?
Yes, it's going to be difficult here for us to get information, it appears, unless everybody's just holding back until the campaigns begin after everyone knows who's in the race.
Yeah.
But anyway, this will be an important election for us here in Niagara. I think sorry. Allergy season. Anyway, I think and skunk season. Holy smokes. Like God, 4 out of the last 10 days I've been woken up here because the skunk smell is being so bad.
Oh, right.
Oh, God. And I have to go around my house and spray it with air freshener just to get all the smell out. And it's still coming in. It happened last night about 3 o'clock in the morning.
Dean,
It's still making its way into the window. You go ahead.
Dean IL forwarded your IL feeder. Basically is pointing this out that we've got now 3 months till municipal elections here in the falls, or Niagara, and that we need to start thinking about it, and that we need to actually get ourselves together, and increase public awareness and political involvement.
Is that the same dean that was city clerk?
Not sure.
I think he was there when the mayor got beat with a cane.
That was okay, from years and years ago. Okay.
Yeah, I think he's city clerk, like what Bill Massey is doing right now.
You may well be right. He's not just talking about Niagara Falls, of course. He's talking about those that have suffered from basement flooding, from these storms. He's talking about just generally Niagara across the board, not just Niagara Falls, right? With the passage of Bill 100, the province eliminated the Niagara's 19 directly elected regional councillors, so we don't have that tier in the vote, right? And Niagara's lower tier regional council municipalities are represented differently now at regional council. Regional council is a mayor-only organisation, which is why you've had some regional councillors across the the region standing as mayors because they want their spot back on regional council.
Yes, well, it could be. So this is something that we can follow now. Paul has zeroed in on this long ago, and so he knows just about everything to do about it right now. He knows as much as he can about the candidates. So I suggest everybody listen to Paul's show a couple times a week at least, because you'll be updated pretty quick.
Yeah. One of the things, by the way, that Paul was trying to figure out a way that he can do the evening show, and I'm when the election results are on, I'm suggesting that we may well be able to do this through StreamYard, and I might be able to do an election aftermath show, with Paul through joint with Talking Niagara.
When do the results normally come in?
They normally come in from 7 o'clock on, from 7 o'clock till 9 o'clock. Actually, even 10 o'clock.
So around 9 o'clock might be a good time. If there's some close races, we still won't know what's going to happen. Yeah.
Well, I'm up for doing that.
Sure.
Some discussion, and then kind of what the results are in each of the municipalities, to the best of our knowledge. Because they all have poll trackers on them.
Yeah. So, okay, that sounds good to me too.
Yeah. I think I'd be up for that one. Right, I'm going to try and sort it out with Paul in the meanwhile, because I'm hoping we can do it on StreamYard.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So, let's follow this. Let's see what happens. And also some, by the way, regional councillors looking to return to local seats they once held as, as actual municipal councillors now. Particularly Tom Encina, Pat Chiocchio, Michael Seaborn, Tim Whalen, and Andrea Kaiser. Also, Sal Sorrento and others looking for their seats back. So there might well be some exciting races going on with the regional council no longer having their having their seats. All right.
Okay. Well, we find that, look, as long as we stay away from the older folk, I mean, it's not that bad. Like, people under 75, I would say, although I'm kind of pushing it for myself if I was ever to do anything like get into politics, but I don't want to get into politics. But there's this thing called the gerontocracy, which means rule by the old. It's a big deal in the democracies right now. We find that in the Senate and the democracy in the U.S. and Congress, there's a huge amount of very old people in those positions, as we've seen with Mitch McConnell, what we saw with Joe Biden, we saw with a number of others that have sort of
don't forget
become senile or don't know what they're talking about. We found that here in the Senate, in our own Canadian Senate, where we had people who were being paid, never showed up, and that's because they were old and didn't even know their own name, and that kind of thing. We tried to fix that. We made Senate, you can't be more than 75 years old to serve in the Senate, but there's still all kinds of wiggle room in there. So I would suggest that we stay away from older candidates. It was suggested that Kim Crater may show up and run again. Well, man, I mean, the guy's getting a bit long in the tooth, and he's had a history of illness. Look what we had the last time we made a vote, right? We had Wayne Thompson and Wayne Campbell, both of them pretty old.
One of them died.
One of them died. Wayne got pretty sickly. I think he was already sickly before the election happened. And Wayne Thompson, although he's had a long history of serving the community, it was an embarrassment watching him in council as he tried to speak to a point in slow motion. Everybody gave him a lot of respect and stuff, and he got elected based on his history. He had a lot of loyal people backing him. Mm-hmm. So I would try to find somebody, a boring politician, basically a person that one of those boring politicians that just get into the meat and potatoes of things, give you the facts, ma'am, nothing but the facts, and stick it with that.
Well, I've got
I would say start shoot for younger if you can. I mean,
I've got some people.
If I was to choose a candidate now, I'm thinking it would depend on the age of the candidate. If somebody's like quite old, I'd more likely turn them down unless they're an exceptional politician.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, and I think we can start once we get to being. We get to knowing who all the candidates are, we can start to look at them and analyze them, and particularly if they have platforms or websites, right?
Yeah, we had to replace 2 politicians with 2 that got rejected by the electorate.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Now, Chris Dabrowski, he was narrowly defeated, and so we got Cario back, we got Dabrowski back. Dabrowski may have a chance. I'm not so sure that the Cario is going to give it a shot.
Cario, prior to the last election in 22, was already talking about retiring. I was actually surprised in 22 that he put his name up on the ballot at the last minute. I was very surprised he did.
Well, but he didn't put a whole lot of money into his campaign. Yeah. And Cario's one of the guys in the when he first entered, when it was when it was changed from a ward system, he put a lot of money into it because he could put a lot more money into it. And it was said that he bought this basically because he had a lot of, he spent a lot of money on his campaign. But you're going to have to spend money if you're going to get in there. Even Lori Lococo spent a lot of money on hers when she came, when she narrowly missed the first time she tried. Thank God she kept trying because she's been a stellar counselor ever since. You know, so you know who I'm going to vote. At least one I'm going to vote right now. By that
well,
comment.
I think we can reveal some of the good and the bad of, you know, in this council, you know, coming up. That's for sure when we get to that. Okay, so the Hamilton mayor discloses that she was a victim of past intimate partner violence when her and her other significant other had a spat over property, over rental property dispute.
I didn't get that article.
You didn't? CH one.
Oh, was it last week?
No, it was this week.
Oh, I didn't open it up. Okay, tell us all about it.
Well, basically, Mayor Andrea Horvath has revealed that she was a survivor of intimate partner violence, and the disclosure came amid a dispute over a rundown rental property that the mayor owns on West Avenue, and it's currently occupied by her former partner and is before the Property Standards Committee of Hamilton City Council. And Horvath has been appealing a ruling that made by the committee that required her to do major repairs on the unit. And she released a statement, said, "The truth is, I left an abusive relationship after a criminal harassment charge and no contact order. I did what many survivors do. I kept my distance." So therefore, she didn't comply with the property standards ruling because obviously her ex-partner was still in the property. And she adds that she understands that she's responsible for the property as the legal owner, but she's committed to seeing it through, and she's disappointed with the committee's decision.
I don't have the article.
You don't?
That's when you submitted way back on Friday.
Yeah.
I put it out on Friday. Okay.
Yeah.
That's why I ignored it, because it was Friday. So okay.
Yeah. And obviously we're putting this one up is because again, it may well impact whether she is at standing for city council. There's that, because obviously that brings her into a bit of a conflict with Hamilton City Council. But the question now becomes one of, you know, how does that impact her candidacy, amongst other things?
Yeah, I don't. Well, you know what? Since I didn't read the article and I'm not any bit aware, but I mean, anytime you find domestic violence going on, you got to wonder what's going on there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Well, we found it, and it tarnishes the candidate. Look what Mark Strange is going to have, even though he got exonerated in court, and it appears that, you know, he didn't really have anything to do with the violence there. It will still tarnish him, because there will always be that forever doubt in the back of one or two people's minds. Did he slap around a woman? And that's that doesn't look good on anybody's. Like, that is verboten. No. Every man knows that. They grow up with that. You don't hit a woman. You know, you don't hit women. Right? That is the number one rule.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And at the and last I looked, he was not. He had not put his name on the list.
Who, Mike?
Oh, Mike. No, Mike is on the list. Mike has stood for election. Okay.
Like, I don't think he got too tarnished by the whole thing.
Yeah. No, he has. No, last I looked, which was a couple of weeks ago, he hadn't put his name up, but he is named now.
Okay, so anyway, his name's on the list there. He's very, very popular. He'd probably get reelected, but he isn't the greatest politician.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
It's about time people pay attention to what these people are doing for us, rather than what these people are doing for themselves.
Well, a guy like Mike Strange was very, very good for the community in many, many ways. Not only is it a point of pride because he was an Olympic boxer, but because of his tireless work with children with cancer and so on, and running across the country for cancer, for kids' cancer and stuff like that, which makes him, no matter how many flaws in his character you might find, the drinking while driving charges, et cetera, whatever else out there, an imperfect hero, basically. He's so he does more for the community than that. That my only issue here is he's not that good of a politician.
No, exactly. And you see, I got a sneaky feeling that a lot of his support will go down.
He may come second place to Laurie this time. That's the only thing I can see. If anyone's going to get like Laurie may go up in the poll and he may come down one. That's all I can think of.
Well,
she was second overall, right? Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if she supplants him as number one.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on to the St. Catharines floods, the couple of issues at play here. One was pointed out by Ed Smith in relation to the GM property, and he's talking about dangerous contaminants that could be flowing off the GM property. I paused and re-said that word deliberately. Could be flowing.
Yes, it could be.
Sure.
I think, yeah, of course, a flood like that would release any kind of contaminant. That kind of torrential flood would break things out. But I think the biggest concern of people in and around here are their insurance claims. And when Doug Ford came down and tried to assure everybody down here that they're going to get help from the province and so on and so forth, and I said the biggest thing he could do is make sure that the insurance company puts out and does their job, get out.
Yeah.
And what we find? We find the insurance companies are not phoning back, or somebody's on vacation. Yeah. Anytime an insurance company has a whole lot of people going, suddenly the guy that's supposed to be doing your work is on vacation.
Yeah.
Twice I had insurance claims for car accidents when my car got destroyed, once by an accident and the other and another time by hitting a deer. I got the same scoop. Oh, well, you got to settle now. You better settle now. It won't be another three weeks before I get back from vacation. Both of them told me the same thing. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And it told me why they couldn't pay me what I wanted for it, because, blah, blah. Hey, well, we'll just have to wait now. Well, if we can't settle it now, we'll have to wait till I get back from vacation in 3 weeks. Both of them said the same thing. Two different guys almost had identical stories. And,
I feel.
I think this is the same thing here. They're avoiding the people by saying they're on vacation or just not answering.
Yeah. You know what you've got to do when you make an insurance claim? You follow up 3 weeks later with a lawsuit.
Yeah. Well, I didn't have to because they paid me.
Yeah, but sometimes it always seems we get a lot of people coming in with, they didn't do this and they didn't do that, and now they want to ensure that to sue their insurance company. Essentially, you've got limited time on claiming for one. You've got limited time on suing insurance companies for two. and you kind of need to take action, whatever you're doing, pretty quickly. Don't let it fester.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. The other issue about this, we talked about that. Yep. Okay. All right. So we do have a number of comments about going back. Okay. So I don't know about that.
Turn it back a bit. What was that comment? Was it by Rick or Coolme? Is vacationing at a time when Canada needs him to be home, confronting the Americans? Well, he's got his trade delegation down there, and he is confronting the Americans. He's actually said that we have our own tariffs we're going to put on the U.S. if the U.S. puts their tariffs on us. So pretty much we aren't going to roll over like Europe did and call him daddy. Yes, sir, 3 bags full, sir. We may lose the battle, but we're going to go down swinging. And I think that's we're definitely going to lose part of the trade balance because the U.S. is bound and determined to put tariffs on everybody in the world, including us. And they really want to pick on us big time. So I think we should just keep swinging until we can't swing anymore. Elbows up, elbows right in the teeth, I think. And if Carney's in Italy on a vacation, I don't think it's a good time to do that either. But we'll see. I didn't hear that he was in vacation.
I didn't hear that he was on vacation at all. I haven't seen any news about that.
No, I haven't. Anyway, he might be talking to that feisty little Italian prime minister, Giorgia Meloni. Yeah, he might rub elbows with her.
Okay, so tell us about this new Niagara tourism data dashboard that you gave me the information on. I can't get to it.
Okay, well, basically, they're just talking about a facility, a means by which the whole tourist industry and people, not exactly attached to the tourist industry, have a source of immediate information on tourism. And let me get the article up.
I get it.
It's a data dash. It's a data dashboard. Niagara Tourism Data Dashboard, and it claims like 36,000 jobs, 3.8 billion in spending, and soon a single dashboard to track Niagara tourism. This is supposed to help anyone directly or indirectly attached to the tourist industry to kind of figure out what they're going to do. This is the data that's going to be at fingertips. Niagara Regional tourism sector is a month away of having access to a new tool to help the industry make decisions based on shared reliable data. So it's called Tourism Partnership of Niagara Chief. Okay, go ahead. Shoot. What do you want to say?
Yeah, I was going to say it's not for this year. It's going to be for next year.
Yeah. Anyways, it's going to be a significant organizational shift towards fully embracing destination management. Now, the CEO of Niagara Parks, David Adams, and the Niagara Economic Development Research Analyst Manager Blake Landry addressed Niagara Region's Planning and Economic Development Committee last week about the Niagara Tourism Data Dashboard being implemented. Anyway, it'll provide shared information about tourism trends in the region to help operators and investors make informed decisions. So
it's going to look at.
Go ahead.
Going to look at things like visitor numbers, seasonal travel patterns, hotel occupancy, tourism spending, visitor demographics, the length of stay that they may well be here for, event-related traffic, regional and sub-regional tourism performance, and economic indicators affecting the tourism sector.
What's working and what's not working, basically.
Yeah.
what target audience, what target tourism. If you're getting a lot of Indians coming down, as we did during COVID, coming down from Hogtown and Brampton and all that, so you might want to target some of them, make them feel more welcome, make sure there's more food or whatever they need or whatever accommodations they like.
Yeah.
A few weeks ago, I saw a bunch of Hasidic Jews in the area around Dunn and Stanley.
Talking about that kind of thing, Dave, is we get groups from time to time. I remember I was walking down the parkway, and all of a sudden I came across 30 or 40 people wearing those kind of orange Buddhist monk type uniforms, following this particular individual around who was kind of waving at them, speaking at them, and giving kind of speeches in the area, all in Hindu, Hindu, of course, so I didn't understand a lot of it.
Were they Buddhist monks? It might not be Hindu.
Might not have been Hindu.
If they're dressed in orange, they're probably Buddhist monks, which would mean they're probably speaking maybe Thai or Cambodian or something else like
possible. That. Yeah, I don't know what language they were speaking, but I knew they were Buddhist monks. Yeah. And the point being is that they were led by somebody. It was like they were being led by their guru.
Could be.
Yeah.
Could be just a tourist, a tourist guide that happened to know their language.
Well, that's the other possibility, of course. Yeah.
But I noticed
the guy was all dressed up. The guy was all dressed up in the monk thing as well, and he was carrying a book.
Oh, okay.
And he stopped and he gave him lectures on the tour.
I mentioned the Hasidic Jews that they've been coming year after year for several years. I'm not so sure if it's around the same time.
Probably.
Most of the time I've seen them there is during off season. This was in the middle of the season. I remember I had friends 2 years in a row in the hotels around there, and they were full of Hasidic Jews, and even one of them come up to me and asked me what kind of business opportunities I thought would be open around the region, and I told them, "Geez, right now Niagara Falls isn't doing too well, but Buffalo seems to be doing pretty good. You might want to look there." I couldn't offer them much because I wasn't a businessman,
Yeah.
Kind of told him so. Geez, you're kind of talking to the wrong guy. I don't know much about business, but I told him about, I told him as best as I could about whatever the economy was, and I told him at that particular time, anyway, Buffalo was booming. They had more and more investment going into there. After Buffalo had flattened, it kind of revived itself.
Yeah.
In any case, for some reason, they come every year. So they're doing something right there, aren't they? They're attracting them.
Yeah.
The Hasidic Jews come every year. And so it must be something that we're doing that is appealing to them. So I would say the same thing for any other demographic. Is there anything we could do to please them, to invite them to come?
Well, we're talking here about 13 million visitors annually, and it helps more than 40,000 jobs in this area. There's 1,200 restaurants and more than 100 wineries that contribute to that the success of Niagara's tourism.
Yeah, and according to Dougie there, he wants to beef up the tourism here, bring in more casinos, et cetera, and other things that will attract. But they want to open up a lot more casinos. I just don't know how many casinos we could take before we're saturated.
Yeah,
there's one across the river. There's two on our side, and there's that big one across the river.
How
much will the market endure?
I don't.
If you build it, will they come?
No,
that's my.
I don't think we would ever get like Vegas. We wouldn't become Vegas of the North. It's not going to happen.
I would hate it if we were Vegas. God,
Yeah.
I would hate it. I'd been to Vegas a couple of times. Like, I mean, I got on the bus one time and then was just the ordinary folk coming and going from work and that. So I was chatting it up with them. They're okay. There's nothing wrong with them, but the glitz and the glamour of those casinos just sucking the money out of poor saps sitting in front of a machine hour after hour after hour is just like revolting. Anyway, Karen
Let's get the Ferris wheel back on the table.
I still say we should put it down. Two different places we can put it. That Michigan Central train bridge that goes across the river there, close to the lower bridge. That'd be a perfect place for a gigantic Ferris wheel. Think of it, because that damn bridge could lift up half of the world on it. You ever seen how it's built? Good God. They made it for very heavy steam trains and all that, and the cargo.
And it's rusted to heck. It's rusted to heck, but it's still standing.
I don't think the rust is too much of an issue. Or just throw a little bit of rust check on it, and away you go. And it looked like it's built for, like, it is way overbuilt. You could put like 3 huge Ferris wheels on it, or the other is just put it on the train track and let it go to Toronto and back again. Just roll it down the tracks.
Yeah.
Like, but it looks like Hoko's got an idea to put a gigantic Ferris wheel. So
the only problem about running it as a train to Toronto is we have to deal with bridges.
Yeah, well, I don't know. We'll find a workaround. That's all.
All right. Well, I wish them well with this dashboard. I hope it gives the information they need. All right.
Well, yeah, at your fingers data on all those things. Now, the thing here is collection of data is the next thing. Does somebody who is accumulating this data fudge the data if they want to put investment in one certain sector of the tours? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But the Niagara Parks has got their nose in it, and a bunch of others, so it should be all right. But at your fingers data on things like that, that's the way it's going to go. And then once you get all that data, you can run it through AI, and what's it going to say? Get a giant Ferris wheel.
Yeah, unlikely. All right. Okay. So moving on, Trump seems to suggest that he should declare the Straits of Hormuz a U.S. territory, and Iran says get lost.
Nobody's paying attention to him anymore because he won the war, right? Then he says, well, we didn't really win the war. We're about to win the war. Yeah, we won the war. We wanted a regime change and we didn't get it. But now, of course, we did get it. We massacred their Air Force. They didn't have much anyway. We took out their Navy. They took out the Navy. The Navy amounted to a bunch of 1970s old ships. I think one from Britain and one from America that they couldn't get new ships after that. So they were tired old vessels anyway.
Yeah.
And they hit missile silos and all that. They did a lot of damage. I'll handle that. They killed 5,000 or 6,000 people. And what did the Iranians do? They closed off the Straits of Hormuz. Now, he claims that the vessels are going through the Straits of Hormuz now. Even Fox News didn't buy that. This must have hurt the Trump administration because Fox News had a news report that said normally 100 ships go through there every day. Now, yesterday there was 8. The day before that, there was 11. The most there was 14. So the amount of ships that are going through that are drastically reduced.
Yeah.
It is beginning to affect the world economy, and because of the oil thing, there might be a real dearth of oil a little later on. I don't know what they're waiting for when they want to settle this. Obviously, like Trump has said all kinds of things. He said he was going to put his own 20% toll on shipping going through the Hormuz Strait. That he demanded unconditional surrender. He said he was going to get it, didn't get it. He said he was going to obliterate the Iranian civilization. It'll be gone. He didn't do that. So he's doing the taco thing pretty much, you know, the taco, taco, taco. Trump always chickens out, that kind of thing. This isn't going to end anytime soon. I think who's going to end this is Oman and Iran. They are conducting talks on their own, exclusive of the United States. The states are out of it, and the other Gulf nations are trying to approach a place where they can begin again their commerce.
And basically, as you said, the commercial shipping has dropped from 130 to 140 ships a day just down to a handful. And these handful are basically through, they're talking about now hugging, you hug the coast, the Omani coast to get into the Straits of Hormuz, and you hug the Iranian coast to get out of the Straits of Hormuz.
Well, that's what the Iranian idea was with their conversations with the Omanis. Yeah. They're going to let certain vessels go, and they're going to attack other ones. And I would sure like to see the end of this, really, because as I've said before, and what nobody's talking about is who is suffering the most from this is the poor people of the world. Yeah. We know that the harvest in Sudan will be less than it should be, and they are starving as it is. And you're going to have a harvest that was going to be less than it was going to because they can't get the fertilizers they need that's coming out of the Persian Gulf. Maybe the Iranians will let some of that go through. Who knows? But right now, the first thing they should have known is Iran was going to close off the Straits of Hormuz and make the Americans look silly. Yeah, the Americans had this. The Israelis and the Americans bombed the living crap out of everything in Iran they could find, and in the end, Iran says, "Okay, just pinch these Straits of Hormuz and make you look foolish," which they did, because the American military, the greatest military of all kind, can't open it up, and they're pushing their sailors to 11-month, 9-month, 11-month tours of duty. We've heard things about their jumping off their ships. We've heard things about their toilets not working, their showers not working. Their food isn't as good as it should be. Sanitary conditions are bad, and the guys are going stir crazy. You got to get these sailors in a port so they can get drunk and get laid and then get back on ship. You know, they gotta. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So talking about gas prices, at the moment, according to Gas Buddy, Niagara prices are averaging around about 160 to 167 per litre. But they're saying that occasionally there are a few places in Thorold and St. Catharines that have them between about 145 and 155 per litre.
Yeah, and we think that's good when it should be around 125. You know, we're thinking, oh, good, $1.45, what a deal. Well, you know, when we were paying $1.25, a deal was $1.20.
Yeah.
You know, now we think, oh, we're not paying over $1.50, we're paying under $1.50. Ooh, what a deal.
Yeah, I know, and we should be disgusted by that, because in fact, what we've set ourselves to is, you know, this gas fluctuating by 10 or 15 cents a litre. It's almost, if it's 15 cents a litre down on when you bought it, go fill up, even if you're only putting up, you know, only putting in 3 litres.
Yeah, so I don't, you know, I filled up the other day when it went down to $1.51. There's that gas station that I Wilkins News tells me all about on Dunn Street, and I try to get in there when I can. It's usually the lowest in town, and it's between Stanley and Drummond, closer to Drummond, and it always has the lowest, but you can hardly ever get in there. I mean, if you got a long time to wait, go ahead.
I know the one you mean.
Yeah.
I normally get mine. in the morning or evening at Lake Street in St. Catharines, purely simply because I go past it. Right. I'm not going out of my way. I'm not going out of my way to go and get cheaper, and it normally is among the cheapest in the region. But But I don't know this morning. Who knows on a Monday morning? Biggest problem with Monday morning, which is probably why I'll leave it to Monday evening, is that the morning prices are always higher than the evening prices.
Well, yeah, they try to stick you anytime they can.
Yeah,
you're gonna need if you didn't gas up last week and you need gas to get to work, we're going to make you pay for that.
Yeah, exactly. So you come along Monday and the price might well be 167, whereas you come along, Monday morning, you come along Monday evening and you might well be 155. You come along Tuesday evening, you might well be as low as 145.
Yeah. Anyway, the war has been kind of backfired. As I've said before, Bibi chumped out Trump like nothing. Like Bibi's been talking about a bomb imminent in Iranian hands for over 30 years.
Yeah.
He used to say in the 90s, in the early 90s, mid 90s, they are only a year or so away from a nuclear bomb. That was over 35 years ago. Then he starts talking about, they're only months away. And then lately, only weeks away. And Clinton, Obama, Bush, and Biden just ignored the guy, and the big dummy Trump went for it hook, line, and sinker after he obliterated their nuclear capabilities with that 1 year ago when they bombed those nuclear facilities that are deep in the ground with those special missiles, and buried the 400 pounds of refined uranium. He himself admits there was only two countries capable of digging it and getting it, and that would be China and the U.S. So Iran couldn't surrender it even if they tried, because it's buried, nuclear dust that Trump calls it. But anyway, what is the point of continuing this war?
Yeah,
they keep telling Iran that they're finished, they're done, they've been defeated, and Iran keeps ignoring them.
Yeah. Interesting, that, isn't it? And everybody's looking forward to the next Iran video, Iran propaganda video.
Oh, the one that must have hurt was there was one I saw where Trump and Netanyahu are together, and then Trump goes down on his hands and knees, and Netanyahu gets on his back and rides him around.
Yeah.
That's got a sting.
Honestly, some of those propaganda videos are exceedingly funny.
Yeah, they are. And Lego got mad, though. Lego got a little annoyed at the Iranians for their Lego propaganda films. Leave us out of it, Don't, you want to make Lego men and Lego armies and all that. Leave us out of it. We're non-political. Don't use our stuff. So I think the Iranians applied there.
Some of the more recent ones haven't been Lego men.
No, they've gone away from Lego because Lego asked them.
Yeah,
kind of quit doing that. Like we're not anywhere. Don't associate us at all with any of this.
No, but it was, and they've actually got a sense of humor, whoever's writing them.
Yeah, they do. And well, that was meant to be.
Yeah.
And it's meant to irritate. It's meant to irritate Trump. That's what it's meant to do. I mean, they're calling assassination attempts on Trump all these years, but they've never really tried. If they had, they would have done it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Just started watching, and you're right, Wills. Dean was the past city clerk who got railroaded by your mayor for being an honest man. My mayor.
Okay.
My mayor.
Thank you for that, Gary. When you said about that, Dave, I thought you were right. The name was familiar.
Yes, yeah, and he was there. He's a little guy just like Wayne Thompson, and when Peter Angelo went in there and beat the hell out of the out of Thompson with his silver knobbed cane, Dean tried to come in and help, but he was a small lad, and I don't think he was much effect on. But it was a terrible incident. At first, when I heard it, I thought he was just hit a few times, but no, he almost killed him.
So I'm guessing the price of 152.9 was the price on Dunn Street. Am I right, Gary?
Yeah, I Wilkins News lives right across the street.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so he can probably just look out the window and see what the price is. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and this is without the 10 cents of tax. The government, the feds took 10 cents of gas off every liter.
Yeah.
So the price we would have been paying was actually 10 cents more if it was the same as so back when it was a $1.25 before the war began. Yeah. It was around $1.25. It was really only $1.15 if you took that 10% or that 10 cents a liter off.
Yeah.
That the government, so basically speaking, we're if things were back to where they would be, anyway, we're losing revenue because of the high price of this. But just so that the average person could get a bit of a break on gas prices, so the government stepped up. But also that means that we're going to have to pay the price anyway a little later on because we have decreased tax revenue coming from the gas.
At the end of the day, right now, we're kind of the blockade of the Hormuz is an on again, off again thing, mainly on, because of the fact that we know there's just simply not enough, tankers getting out of the Gulf.
Yeah, and China is using up. China has massive reserves, so it's put out a lot of its oil out there to keep things from getting way out of hand. It had incredible amounts of reserves. It still does, but they will get to the point where they're not going to be too comfortable. They've put out a lot of oil to keep the price of oil down to where it is, just so that the economy doesn't go for a dump, because they're not doing it out of the kindness of their heart. They're doing it because if the economy keeps going south, the world economy, because of this, they're going to be affected by that.
And Rick says, let's put it up 50%.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I think we're already hurting us.
Let's put it this way: the war did not go the way they thought. It was supposed to be 4 to 6 weeks. There was supposed to be a regime change, and nothing was accomplished, except they killed a lot of people, and all those people were replaced. And every time they killed one, another one popped up. And that's because Iran has been waiting for the United States to attack them for 47 years. They've been waiting. They figure it was coming. So they dug in, and they were going to put up the best fight they could. Looks like they're doing a pretty good job right now.
Yeah,
the only way you're going to beat Iran right now is to kill all the people. You're going to knock out their salination plants. Well, they're going to then knock out the desalination plants in Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Qatar, and UAE, which would put all those populations under a great deal of stress. They won't have water. Where are they going to get water? So if the U.S. wants to put pressure on them and knock out the desalination plants in Iran can't reach the United States, but it sure can reach all the desalination plants within the American allies in the Gulf.
Yeah.
You're gonna ask a lot of people to suffer. So the Americans might not care how many, the American administration, not the American people. American administration might not care how many people die or suffer in Iran to get a new regime, but they will care about their allies, Kuwait, the UAE, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia, of suffering the same fate. So they got to. I don't know. They're kind of stuck right now. And the only thing I could think of is just declare victory, go away, and let everything return back to what it was before the war. Sure. I mean, they've made their point. They beat the crap out of Iran's military and everything else.
Hey, you know what we need? You know what we need, Dave? We need another dose of the Epstein files.
Well, they used to call this Operation Epstein Fury, because they were it was called Operation Epic Fury when they started in February 28th, and it was quickly renamed Operation Epstein Fury because the accusation was they would do anything to get people's minds away from the Epstein files.
Yeah, and it's a distraction. That's exactly it, Rick. Focus on Canada, says Rick. Yeah, well, we have to focus on the events that impact us all.
Yes, and right now what's happening in Iran, the Straits of Hormuz, is going to affect the world economy. But I will say this though, Danielle Smith is a much happier lady these days, and if you listen to her, she says she's had 10 years. Alberta's had 10 years of being a very rough 10 years, very bad 10 years, and that was under Justin's government. Things have changed around radically in Alberta. More pipelines, more ears listening to the needs of Albertans, and she pointed this out too. She said they come down here and try to limit our production because they want to make environmental quotas, and we produce 11% of the GDP. Like, this oil production is essential to Canada's bottom line, so it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
and I would say also, just to add in, as long as the oil price is really high, Alberta should be making top dollar right now.
Absolutely, they should.
They should be cashing in big time.
Yeah, well, it impacts. It's basically bringing wealth to Canada by having the Canadian oil going.
U.S. oil fracking will be very happy about this as well, because fracking cannot pay for itself unless the barrel of oil is around 68 cents. Yeah. You have to get at least 68 cents per gallon or something like that. It's a costly extraction. So is Canadian oil too, but as long as the barrel of oil is such a price, then it makes a lot of money. Even Venezuelan oil, which is extremely heavy in crude sour oil, the higher the price of the barrel of oil, the more they're going to make. I got to wonder how much money the Venezuelans are actually getting out of the oil that's being extracted right now. I would say that's the one thing that Trump may have done that's good in the long run. He was able to get Maduro out of there very fast. He left the government in place, the socialist government in place. I don't know why he did that, but he's left the communist socialist government in place, and but just giving them orders, do this, do that, and they're complying. So they're kind of like a client state right now. Is being way too cruel to Cuba. Of course, those people are suffering terribly. He need not be that cruel to them by the way he's doing it. But he's a cruel man. He's a very cruel man. Anyway, so I would say Canada, yeah, we have our own things here. Like in the province of Ontario, I'm worried about the agribusiness in the region here because of the amount of rain we've had. Jobs, of course. That's all big worry for me too. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and yeah, okay. And I just flicked up St. Catharines in Gas Buddy. Basically, the cheapest there seems to be about 156 right now, with the highest about 166. There you go.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so kind of we've come to the end of where we are for today.
Yeah, I'll bring up Gaza again. I always
Yeah.
do. The West Bank actually right now is the biggest thing. Thankfully, the foreign journalists are getting into the West Bank. They still can't get into Gaza, but some of them are getting into the West Bank. What they're finding is the settlers are surrounding little villages, Palestinian villages, and fighting them and trying to force them out of the home, surrounding them, putting a siege on them, not letting any food or water get into these places. Even the ambassador, the American ambassador, who is a devout Zionist, has said that this is a horrible thing. It's very criminal what they're doing. And that's because the IDF is helping them. Now, I heard an Israeli spokesperson on the radio trying to say that these were the acts of a small group of people and they're very isolated. Well, how could they be isolated when they're happening all over the West Bank? And it's story after story after story. When an American Palestinian was over there with his family and he got beaten by the settlers, he didn't have any guns or anything. They just beat him. And then an ambulance came and the IDF wouldn't let the ambulance move. And the guy died inside the ambulance.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing that happens all the time. If you're a Palestinian, you're in an ambulance and you're trying to get to a hospital, they'll stop you. They'll stop you and just let you suffer away. And it's not according to what I've read, it's not unusual for one checkpoint will stop you for 45 minutes for no reason at all, just to make you suffer. The whole idea is to make your life as miserable as possible so you'll move out and the Israelis can take it. The Israelis have claimed that land, but what are they going to do with all the Palestinians there? They don't want them there. They want to get rid of them. They lived there for 1,000 years, but you got to go. So the same thing in Gaza. 70% of the people that live in Gaza used to live in what is now Israel for 1,000 years. I don't think we really understand that most of the time over here, that this war, the October 7th atrocity, that's happened back and forth. Sometimes the Israelis do the atrocity. Sometimes the Palestinians do the atrocities, back and forth atrocities since 1897.
Yeah.
And one of the harshest, you talk about terrorist groups, the Haganah, the Stern Gang, and the Irgun were Jewish terrorist groups in the 40s that attacked not only Palestinians, but they attacked the British and anyone else that wanted to make peace there. So that's a big issue. And somebody says, "Are we talking about Canada?" I'm saying that I wrap this up all the time with the atrocities going on out there. The war in Ukraine too, that was supposed to be stopped in one day by Trump, did never happen. That's another failure.
Yeah, and that's a bigger war in my view as well.
These things affect the bottom line of Canada in a big way, because anytime there's a war anywhere, it's costing people around the world a lot of money. Anyway, we'll talk maybe about the trade deals tomorrow or the local. We did talk about local matters here, about the flooding. We've talked about
we have
things here, like we add foreign news to it near the end. Anyway, so without further ado, I bid you adieu.
And have a great